Good morning, Zoe. How are you?
I'm fine, you.
Good. Do you want to sit? Are you okay with standing? Whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Could I sit by the door?
Sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Do you need anything before we get started? Or you're okay?
If it's possible, I would like something to like fidget with.
Sure, no problem.
Thank
Did you
you.
find our office okay? Was it easy?
Yeah, it was easy. There was a bit of traffic and I struggled finding a parking spot. It's really packed at this time.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic and a lot of commotion going on right now, but I'm glad you're here and I'm happy to see you. So just before we get started, I'll introduce myself a little bit and just talk to you a little bit about confidentiality. So first, my name's Courtney. I've been working here at our office for 4 years now, and I specialize in the mental health section of it. I graduated from LaSalle College 5 years ago, and I've been loving every moment of it, so I'm really happy to be here. Um, just a little bit before we get started about the confidentiality. Everything, obviously, that's said between you and I will be kept between you and I. Everything that I'm writing down on paper or on my computer, it's going to be locked either by a passcode or by a lock on my files. So everything is just really kept between you and I. I know you were referred from your family doctor to see me, but even that is kept between you and I. There's really nothing that gets separated between that. The only time, however, that I do need to disclose information is if you ever threaten to hurt yourself or other people. At that time, obviously, so it gets a little bit more complicated and things have to be done. But as long as you're perfect and okay with that and you understand everything, we can get our session started.
Yeah, I understand that, but how can I trust you? You won't like tell people my problems.
Well, when you get referred, we did sign a contract, and it's all part of your contract and the confidentiality. It's all written there. So it's very legal, and hopefully, we can build a trusting relationship so that you feel open and comfortable enough to discuss things with me.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Um, so, what were your best hopes for our conversation today? What did you want to bring to the table? What did you want to talk about?
So basically I had my twins a year and a half ago, and I've just been having difficulties adjusting to the mom life and balancing my relationship with my husband. Um, and I've been having trouble prioritizing my own mental health to be the best mom I can to my children, and it has been a real roller coaster for the past few months.
Well, first off, I'd like to say congratulations because twins is fantastic. Um,
Thank you.
I'm understanding that you're just finding it hard to kind of balance everything and kind of find yourself coming back from that. Can you explain a little bit more just about how you're feeling? Like how are you not feeling like yourself, or how is it affecting you and your husband?
Um, well, I haven't been really feeling myself. Like I wake up and it's about my twins. I feed them, I bathe them, I play with them. I have no time for myself. If I'm not taking care of my kids, I'm feeding my husband or cleaning up the house. So I don't know where to find that right balance to take care of myself. And when I do try to take care of myself, I feel guilt because I should be taking care of my kids and I shouldn't be struggling as a mother. My job is to be a strong woman for these two babies I've brought into this world.
Okay, so if I'm understanding you correctly, you're really just having a hard time finding yourself back after having your children, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and is there things you used to do before you had your children that was like really exciting for you and really like activities or hobbies or some sort of self-care routine that you really enjoyed doing?
Um, I was never like the party type of girl, but I liked going on date nights with my husband. We used to go every Friday, eat dinner, come back and watch a movie and just cuddle until we fall asleep. I also love taking baths and just relaxing with a nice bath bomb and a bottle of wine. And I just miss those days because I breastfeed my twins. So I feel guilty for drinking, and like whether or not I can drink, I'm technically attached to them because they rely on my milk
Right.
still. I mean, they're fed with other food, but I still feel like I'm part of their nutrition.
Of course, that makes sense. Have they drank from a bottle at all, or is it really just from you?
Um, we've tried doing the whole bottle thing so my husband can bond with the twins, but I'm really keen on feeding my kids with breast milk, and just the whole pumping and putting it in bottles was a lot on my mental health. So I stopped.
Of course. Okay, so if I'm just, let's backtrack just a little bit. Really, the main things here, from what I'm understanding, that you'd like to work on is kind of getting yourself back and finding a routine that's good for you with your twins, your husband, and also for yourself.
Yeah, but not only that, I want to make my husband understand that just because I don't have the energy to spend time with him, it's not because I don't love him, because he's my entire world. If it's not for my kids, I'm living for my husband. So I just want him to know that just because I go to bed early and I don't have the energy to watch a movie or play video games with him, I still want to be there for him. Um, so it's difficult to communicate that to my husband without creating a fight because we have very different views on it.
Okay. So for today's session, do you want us to start and focus on your self care or the relationship between you and your husband? What do you think would be best for us to work on first?
Um, I think my relationship with me and my husband, because without it being okay, I feel like I won't feel in a right state to actually work on myself, because without like a healthy, like a comfortable place, I won't feel comfortable taking care of myself.
Okay, that makes complete sense, of course. So, what are some things maybe that you and your husband did together prior to having children that you really enjoyed, other than your weekly date nights?
Um, well, my husband is an artist, so he really enjoys drawing and painting. So sometimes it would just be he would draw parts of my body, which sounds weird, but I would be a model for him. We would also paint together.
That sounds really fun. And have you ever maybe, do you have any help at home that you could, or just family around that maybe you guys could have come to the house maybe once every 2 weeks or once a month just to start off things slow? Maybe just be able to leave your twins alone with them for a bit. I know that you really are keen on breastfeeding, which is completely fine, but it doesn't need to be long outings. You can start off short until you're feeling more comfortable to let the twins either bottle feed or they're taking it from something else, like eating normal food and things like that. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can incorporate a date night even while having these twins and also breastfeeding. Even just taking a 20-minute stroll outside and then coming back and putting the babies to bed, maybe doing some painting or some activities afterwards once they're sleeping, or just even having like that one solid hour at least a week where you also commit yourself to him as he does to you. I understand that obviously you're tired and it's a lot of work, um, but maybe just that 1 week we could take 1 hour out of the day to spend with him so that you guys can restart to build your relationship that you had beforehand.
So I agree with what you're saying, but the only thing is, by the end of the night, I have no energy to just do anything and just collapse on the couch, and I have no energy, and my husband doesn't get that because um he was raised with a woman being the provider at home and then him outside of the home. So for him, my job is the easier part because I'm the one cooking, taking care of the kids, and I'm home. I should be resting all the time. I've tried communicating with him that I'm just tired, and he says, well, I'm tired too. So like, why am I making the effort and you're not? So I've tried communicating that with him, but we just have really different views. And as for the support, well, I don't speak to my mom or dad and mostly my whole family for personal issues I just don't want to get into today. Um, but I speak to my husband's father, but not his mom. I don't have a close connection because she thinks that my mental health issues is a way to get out of taking care of the twins. So I just don't want to face that negative energy right now when I'm struggling.
Okay. So, from what I understand, you have tried to speak to your husband about how you've been feeling, and he's not really understanding. Um, but it also sounds a little bit like maybe you're not understanding where he's coming from either, which can make a lot of sense because you're both tired and overworked, and he's going to work, and you're being at home with the children, which is also doing a lot of work. Maybe you guys could try to do something in the morning as opposed to in the evening so that you guys are both more awake and more able to communicate properly. There's not that tiredness like coming over you guys. So maybe like a Saturday morning type thing or a Sunday morning type thing when you guys are both off and at home. You have the morning an hour to yourself, just you guys when they go down for their first nap. And you guys can really just even try to communicate with him again during that time because obviously you're trying to and it's just not being reciprocated. So maybe just trying at a different time of the day could help also.
I'm willing to do that. For example, like I would prefer doing it early in the afternoon, so maybe he could come home since he works really close and just eat lunch with me and help me with the babies, and we just bond over that for the few hours he has, or the few minutes even. Um, but just I really want my husband to understand that I am here for him. I am here for my kids, and I just hate feeling like I'm not worthy because every time he says I shouldn't be tired, it makes me feel like there's something wrong with me.
Right.
Like this is a lot, and I just want him to understand. Like sometimes I wish he could be in my shoes and like feel what I'm feeling. And like I'm so grateful for my kids, but I just wish sometimes I could have like some sort of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want my husband to understand that like how I feel without us like getting angry and then just ending the conversation there because we have tried in the past, it just never goes anywhere.
Okay. Well, for this week, if you're okay with it, I think the main thing that we should work on is trying to have your little 1 hour a week just at an earlier time. Like you said, maybe he can come home at lunch, or maybe you do it in the mornings on the weekend. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of stress from the day between you and him. You're both tired. You're both not willing to listen. You both just want to go to sleep. So I really think that maybe trying it at a different time of the day could be a good start. Just to re-go over your feelings, make sure that you're listening to him and he's listening to you. Just start it off fresh in the day where you both know that you're not going to be angry about anything that has happened throughout the day or frustrated or tired. You really just have that full attention on you and your husband to really communicate and be able to speak properly. Um, if you're okay with that, I think that that would be a really good place to start for this week. And then maybe next week we can try something else and push it a little bit further. We can discuss how it goes. We do need to meet twice a week for 45 minutes each week for the next 6 weeks. So we have time. You don't need to worry about it. I'm always here if you need to speak about other things. But I think for this week that it would be a good time, a good thing to start with, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, so I'm just confused. Like I come to you for guidance on how to deal with like the overall stress with my family, or is it more like a like couple therapy? Like do I have to bring my husband in a few times? Like how is it gonna work?
It's up to you, really. For now, I think the first few sessions would be best for just you and I to discuss things to build more of a relationship together. But if you feel comfortable with having your husband attend 1 or 2 meetings, then that's perfectly fine. They're your 6 weeks, so it's really up to you what we do with them. I'm just here to help as much as I can and get you guys through this. If there's anything other than your husband and that type of situation that you want to talk about, I am here. Like I mentioned earlier, it is really all mental health that I like to work with. So it's really anything and everything that you can think of, I'm here for. But your husband can for sure come to a few meetings if that's something that you'd like to do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. So that's okay for this week? You're feeling a little bit better? Is there anything else
Yeah,
that
I
you
am. Thank
about?
you. No, not really. Yeah, I kind of just have to go home and think about a few things.
Perfect. I think the best thing to do, like I said, is really just focus on that 1 hour. Try and find a good time for you and your husband that's during the day or in the morning where there's no stress. And just try to work through that. And then next week we can talk about how it went and go through a little bit of other things.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem, Zoe. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Fantastic.